Hey everybody. As many of you know, this dehumidifier has been at this house now since about the start of June of this year, and it's gotten pretty decent use ever since. And I just happened to notice that there's like a little, light, just very light layer of dust on the cabinet. And so I figured now that it's just about winter, it'd probably be a good time to open it up, take some things off, and give it a good cleaning, and also oil the fan motor as well, just to keep it nice and clean and maintained and everything. And we'll also check the evaporator coil to make sure there's not too much dirt or anything on there that can block the airflow. So the way I figure I'd start it is I'll probably remove the humidistat knob, take off the front panel, and just see how everything looks, and just give it like a little cleaning if it needs any, and like I said, oil the fan motor as well. Going to use the stuff here. Going to use one of two flathead screwdrivers, whichever one takes off the screws better. Going to use a cinch for the cleaning, some hospital rags, and that's just a flashlight to show you what's inside. And I'll be using for the fan motor, I'll use the exact same oil that I used for that table fan with the LED lights. We'll use that same oil and see how it goes. Okay, so let me go ahead and get the front panel off and see how things look. Alright guys, and upon looking inside, really not all that bad. If you remember, this wasn't in mint condition when I first got this with Jay back in 2014, but we did a good amount of cleaning on that when we first made that video. The fan moves pretty good, as you can see, but just to be safe, I may put a little bit more oil in the motor. On the compressor, there's this ever so slight layer of dust. You see that dark spot on there? That's where I just rubbed my finger across, and the rest is just dust on there. So let me see if there's a way for me to put this down and show it to you. I'll go across here. See that? See the marks? So just an ever slight layer of dust, which really is not all that bad for how long it's. Let's see, it's been down here since like around the start of June, and really that's not all that bad. That's pretty good. And the fan motor doesn't look too bad either. Let me just see how that looks if I go across it. Yeah, really, not too bad. Okay, but still not a bad idea to give this a little bit of a cleaning. I don't see any rust on the compressor, so I'm happy about that. All in there looks good. Let's have a look at the evaporator coil. I emptied the pan just today, so you can see there's just a little bit of water in it at the moment. Really, that's not bad. From what I understand, the clips that hold that probe on there do get a little rusty, but just those clips, everything else is okay. Which is okay, which is good rather. And there's just ever so slight amount of little dust particles on the evaporator coil. That's really not bad. The ideal thing would be to use compressed air, but I don't have that on me at the moment. So I may just use a rag to kind of rub it off. And inside of the cabinet has just a little bit of dust on it, but really this is not bad. I'm really rather impressed as to how this all looks. So, alright, let me go ahead and get the cabinet off, and I guess we'll take another look from there. Actually, before I do that, I just want to show you the back of the front panel. Really, that's very clean. I ran my finger across. There's no dust on the back of it whatsoever. So I'm pretty happy about that. We have a pretty clean basement, which is always a good thing. Nice and clean back of the front panel. So that's great. Okay, now we'll get the cabinet off. Okay, and with the cabinet off, you can get a little bit of a better shot. Yeah, you can see these light areas on the fan here. That's just a little bit of dust collection. That shouldn't be too hard to clean off. There's the compressor again. Now you can see it a little bit better. See the dust? There's a little dust right there. Just like I said, a light layer. Really not all too bad. The condenser coil looks pretty clean, so that's good. Just the front of the evaporator coil, I think, needs to be cleaned off a little bit. The rear panel, you can see it is a little dusty. Nothing too serious, but definitely could use a little bit of cleaning. So like on this back area here, and where the louvers point down, that could use just a little bit of work. But really, this really isn't too bad. This is actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, so I'm pretty happy about that. Again, I know the weather stripping needs to be replaced, but this thing really isn't rattling all that much, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. But at some point in the future, I might take care of it. Let's go look at the evaporator coil again from here with the cabinet off now. Okay. Really, that's not bad. That's really not too bad at all. I mean, I don't know if the dust particles are coming out in the camera, but for what it is, it's really not all that bad. Like I said, I'm very happy with how this looks. And like I said, don't worry about those rust streaks from those two clips. Those are known to rust, apparently. And there's the pan once again. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, the front panel I'm not going to worry about because that's pretty clean. What I will do is I'm going to take the cinch, some of the hospital rags. I'll spray the cinch on the rag itself, not to the dehumidifier. I'll spray the cinch onto the rag, and then just go through all the areas that have to be cleaned. It could be the fan, see what I can do about the evaporator coils, top of the compressor, around these areas. Maybe the wire a little bit. The humidistat I'm going to leave alone. And then after all that stuff is done, I'm going to put 5 drops of oil in the 2 oil ports. There's an oil port right here, and there's one between the motor and the fan right down there. When I get to that step, I'm going to have to use 2 hands for that, so I can't really show you that step, but like I said, there'll be 5 in here and 5 back there. So, okay, let's get to some of the cleaning now. So basically, guys, here I have the rag with the cinch sprayed on it. I just go all around the areas like this, like all on the compressor. And I also have a couple of dry rags just in case. Go all along here, around the compressor. All parts that look like they have a little bit of dust on it. You know, with the wires in the way, you just kind of go around them. It's pretty simple. And then just to make sure everything is dry afterwards, you can use a dry rag. Go all along here. The refrigerant lines, I may just use the dry rag on just because it's copper. All along here, everything. Like I said, it doesn't have to look spotless and brand new. Not like I can do that, but you want to make it look just decent, I guess. So, okay, go all around here, and then let me just show you one of the fan blades. I'll run up along one of them. And yeah, you can see the difference between the dirty blade and the clean blade. And on the back panel as well. Let me see if I can reach into one of these areas here. Like, let me try right here. Yeah, see how the clean area is nice and brown and not as dusty? Where is it? Hold on. Right here. Right there. You see that? So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to spray the cinch on these rags, clean all these areas, including the evaporator coil, and then I guess I'll show you how it all looks afterwards. So I think I'm pretty much finished with the cleaning now, and I think it came out pretty good, honestly. You can see I cleaned the fan off. That looks a lot better. Cleaned off the compressor. The compressor is still nice and shiny, as you can see, nothing else. And looks very good. This base here, this is the best this is going to get. These are just marks from whoever had this in the past before Jay got it. So that's what all these marks are about. But I did clean this some as well. The compressor came out very good. Like I said, the fan came out well too. Here's the back panel. It's not 100% perfect, but I mean, if you just look at it, it looks a lot better than it did before. Got a lot of the dust off, and I'm really happy with how this turned out. Came out great. And if we go to the evaporator coil, let me show that to you. I took the pan out as well and gave that a cleaning. I'll show that to you in a minute. Maybe you can see, but pretty much those dust specks that were in there are pretty much gone now. The evaporator is still a little wet, honestly, but I mean, I think that only made it easier for me to get some of the stuff off of there, and it's really good. And some water dripped down, but I cleaned that off, and yeah, the evaporator looks great now. So those little bits and pieces that were on there came off really good. Again, compressed air is probably the best thing to use for that, but I don't have that on me at the moment. But I'm just very happy with how this came out. Looks very good. So, and I also cleaned off the pan and the cabinet as well. There's the cabinet right there. Just gave it a light cleaning. Wasn't really too much on there. Just a little bit of dust. And the pan, I also did some cleaning in there as well. So I just emptied the little water that was in here into the condensate pump over there, and just scrubbed this out. And like I said, did the same thing to the outside and inside of the cabinet as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to oil the fan motor. Then I'm going to have you can see I put the humidistat knob back on temporarily. I'm going to oil the fan motor and then let it cycle for a while, and I'll show you how I'll do that. But first, let's get some oil in there. Okay guys, I have the fan motor all oiled up now, and it does seem to spin a little bit better. So what I want to do is I want to run the fan for a little while just by itself, I guess just to get things moving around. So what I've done is I disconnected, let me see if I can show it to you, there it is. I disconnected the compressor here from the de-icer switch. So just the fan itself should run. And I just want to let it run for a little while just so we can get the oil going and things like that. So I have it plugged back in, and let's see. Okay, well that's definitely spinning up better than it did for previous times. So, yeah, that's very good. So, that spun up very well. And like I said, I have the compressor disconnected right now because I just want the fan to run for a little while just to get the oil circulating. So, yeah, that's running pretty good. Okay, so we're gonna let the fan run for a little while, and then we'll come back. So the fan's been running for about, I'd say maybe about 10 minutes, maybe like 10-15 minutes. So I think it's run for a good amount of time. Motor has warmed up some, so that's good. So let's just do a quick demonstration. We'll shut it off. Spin down does seem to be a little bit less. I know it's not going to be perfect, like as if the motor was brand new, but it is spinning better, I think, definitely. And then let's just turn it back on quickly and see how it does. That's pretty good, I would say. Definitely good rev up speed with the extra oiling, so it should have helped some. Okay, so let's give this a good test. Let's plug the compressor back in and see how it goes. Now, it is pretty cold down here right now, so I won't be surprised if the de-icer actually trips a couple of times, just because of how cold it is down here. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, so let's reconnect the compressor and give this a test. Okay, so compressor is all reconnected. And let's go ahead and turn this on and see what happens. Sounds good so far. See if the de-icer trips. How's the evaporator doing? Not too bad from over here. Compressor feels okay. I'm not seeing too much ice, or let's see, maybe like a little bit here. Yup, there it goes. It just tripped. So, yeah, that happens. When the compressor hasn't run for a while, the de-icer tends to trip a couple of times, like 1 or 2 times, before going fully. It's not low on refrigerant or anything like that. This dehumidifier does do that, as I've seen a couple of others where if it doesn't run for a while, it gets a little icy, it senses it, cuts the compressor, and then restarts. It's probably going to try to do a hot restart here. Yeah, I'm trying to do a hot restart. That fan sounds great, though. When I was trying to do a hot restart, it didn't slow down that much at all. And it may start next time it tries. Let's see. Yep, there it goes. Okay, so let this run for a while, and then come on back. Okay, after a few minutes, this thing is running very well. And sounds very happy, too. All good. Like I said, it's kind of cold down here, so... But yeah, running great. Fan sounds good. And so does the compressor. Okay, so what we'll do now is it's been all oiled and cleaned. Let's put the cabinet back on and reassemble everything, and then give it a run from there. But so far, sounds awesome. Alright everybody, here it is, all back together. So, like I said, when it cycles for a while, that's when the de-icer tends to not cycle, especially during the winter like this. If it's off for a while, then it tends to. But once it goes for maybe a couple minutes, then it's fine. So when it cycles normally, it's all good. Let me just get my glasses back on. Okay. All right, so here we go. Let's give this a run up and see how it sounds. Oh, that sounds fantastic. That's on 4, right? Yeah, pretty much on 4 right there. So there you have it, guys. That's how I clean and, I guess, maintain the dehumidifier. Oiled the motor, and it sounds great. Running very smoothly. Not too many vibrations, and no rattling either, even with the worn out weather stripping that it had. So this came out pretty good. So there you have it, guys. That's how I clean and maintain the dehumidifier. Just had a light layer of dust after being down here since June. That was it. Gave both oil ports of the motor good oiling, and the fan sounds great. Compressor sounds happy, and this thing is running fantastic. So if all goes well, should run for many more years to come. Very, very happy with this dehumidifier. Thanks again, Jay. Alright, guys, there you go. Dehumidifier is running great, all been cleaned and oiled, and all back together. Job well done. Thank you very much for watching, and take care.